Hi everybody, it's to see here. Okay, first thing we're going to do is have a look at the passage I read to you yesterday, where you had to find some words that began with that sound. Okay, like munching, Mike's, mistake. Okay, I'm going to pop that down on the table. It's my special little thing there. I'll tell you about it later. Now I reckon there were 6 words. Okay, the passage I read was Munching Mike and his mum were in their cave in the Letterland Mountains. Munching Mike's mum was cross. She had just tripped over Mike's coloured marbles for the 3rd time that day. "I told you 1,000,000 times not to leave your marbles lying around," she cried. Munching, Mike, mum, mountains, marbles, million, that's 6. Did you get them? Bet you did. Okay, well done. I'm putting that down. Now, the next story we're going to read, the Letterland story, is going to be the letter, what is it going to be? We did M last, so it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. And it's Naughty Nick and the Nettle Nibbler. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody called Nick is naughty, and it doesn't necessarily mean that Nick was naughty in this story. We'll have to find out. So, Naughty Nick and the Nettle Nibbler. There was a large crowd around the Letterland notice board. Naughty Nick was nailing up a big notice. Everyone gathered near, craning their necks to see what it said. "The Letterland Riding Races will be held next week," said Naughty Nick. "Anyone who wants to enter must write their names here, nice and clear." "I will enter my ostrich," declared Oscar Orange. "And I will ride my goat," giggled Golden Girl. Fireman Fred and Eddie Elephant decided to enter together. Soon the notice board was full of names. The Letterland Riding Races were always held in one of Fireman Fred's fields. The next day everyone set off to practice. The hairy hat man on his horse, Henry, Oscar on his ostrich, and so on. In fact, nearly everyone from Letterland was there. Even Quarrelsome Queen went along to watch. But when they arrived, to their dismay, they found that the field was knee-deep in nettles, nettles as far as the eye could see. "Oh no," said the hairy hat man. "There's no way that we can have the Letterland Riding Races here." "Nonsense," snorted Quarrelsome Queen. "I'm not nervous of these nasty nettles. We can cut them down in no time." But as soon as she tried, the leaves fell on top of her. "Ow!" she shrieked as a nettle landed on her nose. This is horrible. No more nettles for me." "What a nuisance," complained Fireman Fred. "How on earth can we get my field back to normal?" "There's nothing we can do," sighed poor Peter. "We'll never get rid of them in time." Naughty Nick said nothing. He was too busy watching Doris the Donkey. She was nibbling the nettles just inside the gate. Naughty but nice," she said, licking her lips. Everyone turned to look. "Now, Doris," said Clever Cat, "if you were to nibble non-stop day and night, could you eat all the nettles in this field by Sunday?" The donkey nudged the nearest nettle with her nose. She gazed across the field and slowly swung her head from side to side. "No, I'm afraid not," she sighed, "but it would be nice to try." And she began to nibble again. "This is no good," sniffed poor Peter. "We're getting nowhere." "Never mind," shouted Naughty Nick. "Now I know what we need." And he ran off at high speed back towards his house. For the rest of that day nobody saw Naughty Nick, but they knew exactly where he was. The noise from his workshop was deafening. "What a racket!" complained his neighbours. "What is he doing?" Night time came. There was still no end to the noise. The next morning there was a notice on the workshop door. "No entry," it said, "to all my neighbours near and far. Sorry about the noise, but I am working on a new invention. I know it is a nuisance, but it is necessary. P.S. I need more nails. What nonsense, spluttered Sammy Snake. This non-stop noise is giving me nightmares. But there was still no sign of Naughty Nick. 2 days later, the noise stopped. All was quiet and still. Kicking King called through the keyhole, "Naughty Nick, are you in there?" But there was no answer. Suddenly the doors flew open and a new noise started up. Clank-a-clank-a-clink, clink it went, and out through the doors came the strangest sight. "Now you can see my new invention," announced Naughty Nick proudly. "Make way!" He was sitting on top of an enormous wooden machine. It had 4 big wheels and, sticking out in front, 9 gnashing sets of teeth. "Strong teeth, just like Doris the Donkey," explained Naughty Nick. "But my machine eats nettles 9 times as quickly." "It's marvellous!" exclaimed Munching Mike. "It's super!" hissed Sammy Snake. "It's fantastic!" said Fireman Fred. "It's nothing of the sort," replied Naughty Nick. "It's a nettle nibbler. Follow me," and he set off down the road to the race field. You could tell that the machine had been made by Naughty Nick because it was a little bit naughty itself. It took a bite out of the hairy hat man's hat. It chewed up one of Jumping Jim's juggling balls. It even bit a hole in Robber Red's sack. "It's nearly as good at munching as me," laughed Munching Mike. Soon they reached the field. Naughty Nick pulled a lever on top of the nettle nibbler. Everyone held their breath. "Here goes," said Naughty Nick, and he pushed a large red button marked "Nibble Now." Suddenly the 9 set of teeth began gnashing and nibbling through the nettles as if the machine hadn't eaten for months. "Hooray!" cheered the crowd as the machine chomped its way across the field. "Now we can have the races after all," giggled Golden Girl. Sure enough, the nettle nibbler cleared the field in no time. It worked all morning, and by the afternoon there was not a nettle to be seen. "Well done, Naughty Nick!" cried the hairy hat man. "Let the Letterland Riding Races begin." Everyone lined up for the race to begin. Sammy Snake was the race starter. "Ready, steady, go!" he shouted, and off they went, galloping down the field. Suddenly from behind them all came a strange sound. Clank-a-clank-a-clink, bonk. It was the nettle nibbler and Naughty Nick. They streaked down the field and crossed the finish line just ahead of Oscar Orange. Everyone cheered loudly, and the hairy hat man cried, "Hooray! Oscar Orange wins first prize, but we now need a special prize for Nick and his nettle nibbler too." Can you guess what prizes they got? A shiny new hammer for Naughty Nick, and a net full of nettles for the nettle nibbler, of course. Phew! Wow, what a crazy race that was. The end. Great, I hope you enjoyed that. Now, let me just read a small passage now, and I want you want your pencils and paper ready to write down the words that begin with that N sound. There was a large crowd around the Letterland notice board. Naughty Nick was nailing up a big notice. Everyone gathered near, craning their necks to see what it said. "The Letterland Riding Races will be held next week," said Naughty Nick. "Anyone who wants to enter must write their name here, nice and clearly." Okay? Have a go at all of those. That's goodbye from Naughty Nick and the Nettle Nibbler. And you know what? In the end, Naughty Nick wasn't really that naughty, was he? Okay, he had a nibble out of Hairy Hat Man's hat and one of Jumping Jim's juggling balls and Robber Red's sack. But otherwise, he built a fantastic machine that cleared the field of all the nettles. Eh? So, goodbye from Naughty Nick, and goodbye from me, Mr. C. Bye!